Hello everyone, welcome to our last tutorial for this edition. And in this tutorial I'm just going to walk you through on an overview of how you can transform your files, your model SolidWorks into 3D printing. So this whole thing has some level of process, and the process is actually what we are going to dwell on today. So in order to achieve this, you're gonna you're gonna need two software for this. First of all, you're gonna need your CAD software. So in my case, I'm using SolidWorks, and also you're gonna need a slicer. So this is actually the slicer. So the name of the slicer that I use is Ultimaker Cura. The link is already in the group, so you can go ahead and download it and set it up for this particular training. So now once you are done, then you take your once you are done, this is actually what the slicer asks for you. So this is slicer interface, and as for the slicer, you will see a box, and this box signifies the workspace or the work area for the 3D printing. So that is, this is where we prepare our model through which the 3D printer can make use of in order to start making it in real life. So that's actually what what needs to be known about that. And as for this particular slicer, we have some level of setting, some things that you can change over there, but for the sake of this training, I'm just going to be as basics as possible. I'm not going to go there to begin to mention them one by one. That will be covered in my future video. This video is actually aimed to teach you how to convert, as simple as that. So now we have our file. This is where we can import our model from. This section is actually where you can select the type of 3D printer for your type of 3D printer for your this actually helps you to select the type of 3D printer you need for your model. And this section is actually helps us to select the filament for the 3D printing that we are trying to make use of. So filament is actually the material that is being passed through 3D printer, which forms the shape of whatever thing you're going to do. So it's actually a long strand of material which melts in a 3D printer, and the melted part is actually what forms the geometry of what you are trying to make use of. So now there are many type of filament in the market. PLA is actually one of them. And in case you are working with different kind of filament, you can just change it by moving into this section, and then you click this button over there, and then you click your generic. So you see list of filaments that you will be needing for your 3D printing. So in case you are making use of your ABS, nylon, PLA, PVA, there are so many things that you can choose. So PLA is actually what I'm making use of making use for this training. And if PLA is actually what you like, you just leave it at PLA. So this is actually a custom setting. This setting determines the quality, the speed, it determines the geometry of the work that of the model that will be created. So, and now this is actually the advanced setting where things needs to be changed, but that will be covered in my future video. So I'm just going to go back there and see what we can cover there. So but one of the things that you need to know about it is the infill. So this infill actually gives us it actually gives us the amount of filament that will be used to make a model. So if your infill, like in my own case, the infill is actually at 20%, right? But if I actually did my best to increase it to 60, my model will end up more heavier, stronger, and more dense than than it being at 20. So once the material is in 20, the material will be much lighter and a little bit flexible than 14. So there is an advantage of it being of the model having coming out with different kind of density. So anything that you want for a model is actually what you need to know. But mind you, if you go for higher thickness, it's going to waste a lot of filament and it's going to take a lot of time. So this is actually one of the things that you need to consider as well. So having been said that, let me just go for a demonstration on how we can make use of all these things. So now the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to import our file from SolidWorks into this very system. And how do we do that? We're going to do that by going to our SolidWorks and converting our model into an STL file. So I'm going to go to this section and then I click any of the things that has been done so far for those training. So I'm going to choose this very thing, and you can choose anything that you want. It's actually up to you, but I think I like this model and I'm sure you must have designed it as well. So now this is actually our model and it is saved as a SolidWorks file. Now I'm going to save it as an STL file. So the only thing that will be possible by taking our arrow to this section. If you click the button beside it, then you'll see option which you say save as, save all. So I'll urge you to go to save as. Once you click save as, you will see a dialog display where it will give you more options through which it can be saved to. Now by default the location will be stored at my document, but you can change the location. You can change the destination of where the file will be saved. It's actually up to you. Now the only thing that needs to be changed is the format of the SolidWorks file. So now there are a bunch of formats that you required. So this is actually what I'm looking for, STL. So once you are done, you click your STL and then you click save. Now it's going to ask you this question. You're gonna have to click yes again, and now your file has been saved to an STL. So you have a model. This is actually a SolidWorks file, but now it has an STL. So you have to mind the title you store that your model was saved with. So now I'm going to my slicer. Then I'm going to import the file into this particular system now. So the thing I'm going to do is I'll go to this section. So mind you, the destination we saved our file with was in the document, right? So I'm just going to type the name that was used to save the model. Okay, now you can see two files coming out. You can see this file that has something that has to do with SLDPRT. That is this acronym means the SolidWorks part, but this one now means STL. That is, we have the same type of model but with different format. So you're gonna have to click this section and then you click open. So now the file is going to be placed on this particular work area. So I'm just going to give it some time. Alright, now the file is now saved. Now this is actually my file, and this is actually what it looks like in my interface, in my slicer. So you can see how big and massive it is. So I wonder how it's going to look like when it's 3D printed. So after this thing has been placed, you must make sure you place your material exactly where you want to. Let me show you something. If your material is placed at this very center, you bear it in mind that your material is going to be 3D printed at this very center. But if you shift the model into this area, into the far end of this area, is going to print it in that place in real life. So any area, any kind of location you intended, you must be mindful of where you are trying to do, because through any position the material is going to start building in real life. And you must take and there's another thing that you need to observe. Now you can see that this box has some perspective line, right? That is, this is actually the boundary of the whole workspace for the 3D printing. So if my model is being extended far more than the perspective line, you will see that the model has turned to something different. That is, the model cannot 3D print. The only area that the 3D printer recognizes is the work area in between this particular box and the height of this perspective line. Anything above it won't work, so you are left with the option to correct it back. Make sure it touches the box. Now everything is now aligned. Or you can right click and then you click center, and then the model now is centralized for 3D printing. So that's actually what you need to know. Now this thing, this box now, where this box actually make this section gives you the right to move your model to any direction, so you need to take note of that. And if you want to scale your model, to be bigger or smaller, this is actually where you go to use. You see your scale. Now you can scale your model to any size you want, depending on what you are trying to achieve. So if you're not working with dimension and you realize that the scale of this model is very massive, you can increase it, or you can decrease it. So that's actually what another you need to consider. And also, if you want to rotate your model in like if you are trying to give your model a kind of position through which it will be formed in real life, you can correct the position by rotating the model. Like for instance, if I want the model to start 3D printing like this, that is, this actually how it will look like when it's 3D printing. You can change the position of the model to anything that you wanted to. You actually not you actually are delivered to do whatever thing you want to do here, but you're gonna have to make sure that your model is actually stay in a place whereby it can be 3D printed. That is, the position it is right now is a very, very wrong position. It's not ideal. It looks very ideal to you in a virtual environment, but once your material is placed in this kind of manner, you will see that in when you start 3D printing, it will give you something entirely different. So you have to make sure that your material is placed in a way that it is possible to 3D print. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to undo this process by Control Z in my computer, or you can use any control of your choice to actually undo whatever thing has been done. But right now this thing can be 3D printed, but it will take some level of time and some level of support. So I'm just going to undo it. Now this is actually what I'm looking for. So I'll click on the model and then I center the model. So now the model is now centralized. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to convert this whole stuff into a G code. Now watch close. There's an option here which calls slides, right? So I'm going to click the slides. Now the slides now will actually convert each geometry into a G code through which the 3D printer will have to follow for its production. Now after I've applied the software, the software has calculated everything it takes to make this model in real life, and it has given me an estimated time. Now in this time you will see it's given by the duration of 5 hours 45 minutes and 30 gram of filament and 38 meters long. Now you can see how possible to make this model, but the time frame is too massive, it's too much. because if you're gonna have to start making this model for 5 hours, you're gonna have to consider your model in terms of the electricity power supply, the backup system. If all those things are kind of if all those things are kind of limited, you're gonna have to think whether to create this model or not. But as far as this model is concerned, this is actually what it takes. But unless you're gonna have to customize it to a particular degree of setting, or you can scale this model up or little for you to know what to do. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to I'm going to preview this model. But before I do that, let's see how it's going to look like when I scale this thing um, when I scale this thing to be more smaller. Let's see what's going to look like. So now the model now is now scaled to be something a bit smaller than how it used to be. So I click slice again, and now we've come to a reduction in the time for the work process. Now the new time is now 1 hour 30 minutes. I think this one is fair enough for your 3D printing. So once you are satisfied with what you have, then you click save. So I'm going to save this file. This file is now saving to an STL file. So now remember the file was given something as something STL, right? Now you can see a new acronym that is given to it, which this stands for Ultimaker format. So once it is being saved, then you can save your model. Now the model is now saved. So so let me do some recap. You have a file in SolidWorks which has its file, SolidWorks file. It was converted into an STL, right? The STL is what makes it to come into this environment. Now from STL, it is now converted into a G-code format. So in this case, it is actually now in an Ultimaker G-code format. So now we know we have 3 stages of conversion here. So that's actually what you need to know. So one thing that another important thing that you need to know concerning this this conversion is that once your model is being saved, any kind of any 3D printer that is in the market has a port where the file that was made in this software can be taken through, can be like transferred into 3D printer through maybe your network service, or with the use of USB or card reader. So if the 3D printer has a card reader, there should be a space in your computer that has a card reader where you can slot in your card reader, and then if you click save, automatically this software will recognize the presence of a card reader in your system, and is going to transfer the model into the card reader. Or if the the 3D printer has an USB flash, then there should be a slot in your system where you transfer your USB flash into, where it can be transferred. So that's actually what you need to know. And also it can still be saved in your external file. So once it's been saved in the external file, this is actually the location of the file, and this is actually the list of my file, my G code, my Ultimaker G code file that was saved, and these are actually the location where you can find them. So what you're gonna do is that whenever you have your SD card or your flash, you can just copy those files, then you place it into the available SD card that can be placed in a 3D printing file for the whole process. Now after this process is being done, you can actually preview the process by looking at your model. Now this is actually how it's going to look like when the model is now finished in 3D printing. So you can actually check how it can be done. So I'm going to we're going to view our model from the top. We're going to view our model from the top, and this is actually the model from the top. So at first the model was actually nothing, but with series of 3D printing, you'll be to see some level of formation of different layer. That is, it is now our model is now forming. So you can preview how the model is being formed until it gets to 100. Now at 100%, you will see that the model has now taken shape to what it's supposed to do. So you can still preview from this section, and then this actually how it's going to look like. So with everything being said, I think this is actually a brief overview of how you can convert your SolidWorks file into an STL file that can be placed into 3D printing. So with this, I think that is actually I think this is actually all that this tutorial has for you. But in my future tutorial, there's so many things that you need to lay your hands on for you to master this very software, because with this one alone it's actually the basics, but there are so many things that you need to learn. You need to learn, but that will be covered in my future video. So actually that's actually going to do. So in your meantime, you can try to work on different models that you've done your SolidWorks, and then you can place it into this software to see what it can be done and how your model can be brought into reality. So that's actually one thing that you need to know. Now having touched the necessary part of this tutorial, I think that comes to the end of this tutorial, and also that comes to the end of this SolidWorks free crash course edition. So in the meantime, I want to thank you all for your time. I want to thank you all for listening. It's been a pleasure teaching you, and bye for now. Thank you.